when I was a young little boy about this big, I came across a silly-ass movie named Barry Lyndon by Stanley Kubrick. I really didn't like it, it was boring as hell, but I had nothing better to do since we had no cable back then, so I watched the whole damn thing. Oddly enough, many of the shots from that movie were etched into my memory permanently. One of those shots was the infamous zoom out scene of the duel. It was nice, soothing, and pretty to look at. As time went by, of course, I felt an urge to recreate one of those iconic shots. But as I soon found out, it was shot with a parfocal zoom lens, and these lenses, these modern parfocal zoom range lenses, are obscenely expensive. So what did I do? Well, I went back to the vintage lenses again. I ventured into the world of TV B4 lenses. Well, I know TV sounds less poetic when you put it in cinematic terms, but please bear with me. I got one of these. So, this is one of those lenses. It has long zoom range, stepless aperture, servo zoom control, smooth focus spring. It has built-in teleconverter, which is very important, we'll get to that later. At the back of the lens there's a knob for parfocal calibration, and you can use it to set up your lens without any extra tools. And it was adapted to a Micro Four Thirds camera via a dummy adapter. Filter diameter is 85 millimeters. You can also take off the lens hood and mount a standard matte box. So the range of this lens is 9 to 117 millimeters with a constant f1.6 aperture. But to get a full frame equivalent, you gotta multiply it by a factor of 2, because that's a Micro Four Thirds crop factor. And after that, we need to multiply it with a teleconverter crop factor of 2 times, so we can cover the whole sensor. So we end up with 36 to 468 millimeters. There are a couple of issues when trying to use these lenses. First being the sensor coverage. Bear in mind that they were made for small sensor cameras, so you can only use them on Micro Four Thirds or smaller sensors. If you try to use them on crop sensors such as APS-C or full frame, there's gonna be a lot of vignetting, and just forget about it. Second issue is when they are wide open. All of these B4 lenses have a similar issue and a problem. In the corners they have a lot of aberration and a lot of softness, so they need to be stopped down to at least f8 or f11 to be used properly. Another thing you could do to combat the corner softness is buying an adapter with optics in it. They are way more expensive than these dummy adapters, but they reduce the vignetting without the teleconverter, and they improve corner performance. To properly utilize the parfocal feature of this lens, you need to zoom all the way in, focus, and then you can go all the way through the range without losing focus. As you can see, the lens is all rigged up with the camera, and that part is inevitable. You need to rig it up because of the stability. It's way too front heavy. You need also a good tripod. You could get away with using a shoulder rig, but in that case you would need a camera with a decent IBIS such as GH5. So with all that out of the way, is the lens any good? Why yes it is. It is very good. It's very good indeed. The lens is awesome. It's awesome for daylight use, for practicing your focus pulling, zooming in, zooming out, your mechanics. But it's kinda crap for low light usage because of the sensor size you'll be using it on, Micro Four Thirds. It has shitty ISO performance, and you can't really use the wide open aspect of it because of the shitty corners and chromatic aberration. It needs to be stopped down, so you get the picture. Also with the lens comes a servo rocker, which I didn't use. I did it all manually. All of the shots I filmed them manually, zooming in, zooming out. Servo rocker is awesome, but you need to buy a high-res 12-pin to DC adapter, which is $70, and I'm a cheapskate, so I skipped up on that. But I might buy it in the next couple of years when I get bored and I want to practice some more. The servo rocker is awesome because it allows you to use this lens without a camera assistant, because it's kind of difficult to focus, zoom, and frame the shot all by yourself. And what's the image like? Image is awesome when you stop it down, that is. So stop it down, use it during the day, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a blast to use. It's so fun. You can even use it as a macro lens in certain situations when you zoom all the way in. It was super fun, and I want to preemptively answer the price question. Yes, I bought it for extremely small amount of money. I paid 50 euros for it, but you can expect to find it for 350 to 600 euros on eBay. That's what they sell them for. But I say even for that price, it's worth it. One more thing, before you run out the house and try to buy this lens, one of these lenses, please educate yourself. I'm gonna leave a couple of links so you can decipher the naming schemes, because they are simply retarded. This lens is called Canon zoom lens J13x9B2A, so just do yourself a favor and read a couple of articles before you buy, because you might find a lens which was built for one third of an inch, and it will never cover a micro four thirds, even with a teleconverter on. So just be patient, do your research, and have fun when you finally buy one of these. I'm slowly losing my mind.